Namathu Ratanatayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello everyone, good evening. So today is Saturday 16th of May 2020 and this is Ajahn Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. As usual, I am with you all tonight. Hi John, hi Colin, Suresh, Margaret, Karin, hi everyone. So today is relatively good weather. Hello Manish, relatively good weather, and you can see this sunshine, although it's a bit cold and chilly, and I thought I better come out and give you this wonderful view. Just beside our temple. You can see some beautiful weather, beautiful scenery, and I'm just sitting outside, outside the temple. So this is the today, Saturday, and it's already half a month in the May, half a month, and this lockdown since began, it's almost over 2 months now, almost 2 months. So it started March, so about mid-March, and now April and May, so it's 2 months already locked down. And I couldn't believe that I have started this beginning of April and continue even until now. So sorry for that. Relatively I am little bit of a shy in terms of giving online talks, and especially you have to give alone in an empty room or empty place, and you're talking alone to yourself. Although I know that some of you are listening to me, and still I feel like I'm talking to myself. It's like a mental. I remember when this Bluetooth wireless these headphones came, and sometimes you walk and along, and then some people is using the headphones and talking to themselves, and who is talking to, something like that. And now it's become me sort of in that situation, talking alone to myself, and sometimes empty room, and other time like this, empty space with a beautiful space, but alone, talking alone. Quite interesting. And in the past I normally used to have interaction, and only then I used to open up, and I can link with different topics, and also able to help out shorting these topics and questions. And whereas now I have to think for myself, and there is no interaction at all, and it makes me feel sometimes what I'm going to say. And other time I prepare in my head, and then when I come here and speak with you, somehow it diverts to something else. Okay, and that's me. That's me. So it's uncertain. It is not just a virus invasion in our society that is uncertain, but also my plans and what I'm going to say are also uncertain. Sometimes it may go smooth, and other time it may not be going smooth. I'm just picking from this and there and where, everywhere. Sometimes bringing it from my life, and other times bringing it from the Buddha's teachings, and other times simply just a talk. It's like me alone talking in front of my mirror, looking at myself and talking to myself. So this on the screen again, I can only see me talking. So in a way, this is quite interesting a journey so far, and I'm so glad that you're all still following me to listen and giving me some feedbacks and questions, and particularly those encouraging words telling me to continue speaking or giving teachings online. So I will try my best to do it continuously. So there comes cows, and sadly these cows again, I believe, as meat cows. So I remember there was one time one of our members were coming to visit and help us grass cutting this lawn, and he saw these cows peeking out to every one of us, and then he said, "Oh, it's a delicious cow." I hope they don't mind it, particularly if you're a vegetarian and a very strict vegetarian. You will be offended by hearing someone is telling to these cows and saying, "Oh, this is delicious meat," like that. So different people have different views and different perspectives in their lives and the way they live. So it's uncertain. I used to reflect the grass. There are so many types of grass, and then these grass blades are not same. Sometimes these blades, the grass blades, some are higher and others are lower, and some are very thick and others are not, and some are very smooth and some are not, and some grass blades leaves are so beautiful and others are not. So although the same genes the grass have, but when it comes, it has a different ways to grow, and that is how we are too. Although we are all human beings, born as a human beings, somehow in accordance with the Buddha's belief or Buddha's teachings, we have practiced 5 precepts in previous lives at least. So as a result, we are born to be a human, and yet because of the karma or the actions or what we have done in the past have changed our behavior, our characters, and the way we are in this present life. And again, if everything is same, if everyone is same, it will be bored. Suppose if everyone is nurse like Sarla, then who will be working to be a taxi driver, or who will be working lorry driver, and who will be working in a supermarket? And if everyone is well educated and staying in a position of a high state, then again, who is going to? So that's why it's a beauty in this differences, and that beauty we have to accept. We have to accept this beauty of indifferences, differences within, and all what we need to understand is that we are part of that difference, and not dominating one another, or not demonstrating that I am better than you. And that's the beauty of the Sangha, the venerable Sanghas, in a venerable monks. Once you become a monk, there is no caste, there is no backgrounds. All you are is simple a monk. Doesn't matter which background you have, doesn't matter how wealthy you were, and doesn't matter how poor you were. Once you become a monk and wear this robe, and that means you are equal in the community. So, and that's the beauty, and and that's why I remember when we normally we have a flower offered to the Buddha, and that flower, again, if you put only one type of a flower every day, and that's not desirable and not beauty. You have to mix with different flowers and then put it one place and in one jar. When you put different flowers in one jar, then that makes it beautiful. So it's harmoniously kept in one place. When everything harmoniously placed, that brings such a peace and such a harmony. And that's same in our society too. Each and individuals are having their own play, their own duty to perform. And once we all performing our duties perfectly on the stage of this world, so the Shakespeare says, Shakespeare's play, in one of the plays, he says this whole world is a stage that we are playing our roles. And that's what it is. If we are playing our roles perfectly in this stage, then nothing will be, a problem. So we are living each other harmoniously, and we respect each other without any troubles. But the very moment we forget that we are also playing one of the roles in a play, but rather than playing our play on the stage, if we demonstrate or if we try to dominate one another, then that's how the whole play become messy, and that's how the play that's written will be completely different. So we are all playing our part in this different society, the society with full of differences, and with that differences again we are not creating more differences. And that's the beauty of the Buddha's teachings. Buddha's teachings is simply to be as you are and accepting that differences, and giving respect. That's why I have written 3 words in our toilet, one of the toilets. One is accept, and the second is respect, and the third is value. So these 3 words are my philosophy that we should be abide by and live together with that. If we are considering these 3 words, accept, respect, and value, then we understand that how we are here and what we are doing. And it also will not create any friction or conflict within one another. And these 3 words came when I was studying counseling, basic counseling course in Burton-on-Trent in England. So I was doing this counseling course probably now 10-12 years ago, and in that training course I had to write an essay on the basis that so-called the personal-centered counseling, and then I somehow thought that we are all aliens in this world. We do not know where we came from, and in a form we are alien. But first thought I came up was I was alien in England, because I came from Nepal and was trained in Thailand and came to England, which a place completely different, culturally different, a language was different, all the etiquettes are different, everything was different to me. And then that was like I was completely in alien country. And when I reflected on that alien country, and then I spread to my human nature as to others, and every human beings are kind of aliens from somewhere, some out there, and coming to this world, and we are just the visitors. We don't have much time. We are simply a visitor in this world, Some live for 20 years, others may live for 100 years. But in average, if we take the Buddha's the numbers, then this era is our age is 75 years. And we do not, although this is a 75 years age, and there are plenty of people dying before than that and after that. Particularly in the UK, we can see that we have so many senior citizens living more than 80, 90, and there is even 100 years. And if you reach 100 years, the Queen normally sends you a car of congratulations and happy birthday. So these are the thing. But again, it's a very limited time, and we have to go, and it's going, and then we do not know which world we are going to be. So that's why this is that we are as an alien in this world. And once we accept that we are all aliens but in a form of humans together, then rather than creating conflicts, why don't we accept each other, that we each other have a different views, a different way of life, different way of understanding. And these again different lives and different way of understanding, different cultures that we grow up, something again based on which culture we grown up or which culture we born to be and how we brought up, and that's how we pick it up as our way of life and our culture. But ultimately we're all humans, and with that, when we accept that each one of us are alien and each one of us have developed that sense of different culture and different personality and perceptions, and then that helps us to accept that each one of us are same. Only matter is how and the development that we have to develop. So in my understanding, what we have to do is to accept every one of us, whatever ways they are, whichever ways they are, whichever culture they have, whichever mentality they have. Sometimes you may want to change their views and you would like to explain the things, and sometimes after you have explained, if they can grasp, that's their merit. But if they cannot, then we have to try in different forms, in different ways to tell him or inform him to understand it. But sometimes, despite of how hard you try, again, they will not accept it or they will not understand it at all. And that's again, in that case, what we have to do is simply accept their capability, accept their understanding of that, rather than generating you're dumb, like that. And this again, if you look at the Buddha's teaching, there is one story that this brother was ordained as a monk, and he became a very good teacher, and following him his also brother became a monk too. And this elder brother gave him to recite some of the stanzas, and somehow he doesn't matter how many hard he tried, he couldn't remember those stanzas at all. And because he couldn't understand these stanzas, his brother, who was a teacher, told him off that even just the one stanza you cannot remember, how why you are still being a monk. You better go back to your whole household life. You're still dumb. And Chulapantaka, his name was Chulapantaka, and he felt very sad that his brother told him off as a dummy, and he thought, okay, now since my brother doesn't like me, and he told me to go back to householder, I better go back, but I better first go to pay respect to the Buddha. So that's how he went to see the Buddha, and then after paid respect to the Buddha, he told the whole story that his brother was giving him to recite and memorize some stanzas, and he couldn't remember it, and now my brother told me to go back to a householder. And in that case, Buddha knew his mindset, and Buddha gave him a piece of cloth, a piece of white cloth, and then told him to rub in his hand and reciting simple one word, Rajo Harang. So 2 words, Rajo Harang, Rajo Harang, Rajo Harang, like that. And that was a white cloth, and he was just rubbing it and mentally reciting that Rajo Harang, Rajo Harang, Rajo Harang. And after having done for a couple of, probably I think a couple of hours, kind of meditating. In that meanwhile, he was rubbing this white cloth and mentally reciting that. And after a few hours, I presume this is about 1 or 2 hours, because that time was they went to the lunch time, so they went for a lunch, and while about to have a lunch, Buddha told one of the attendants to go and call this Chulapantaka from the temple, where he was just reciting the word and rubbing this white cloth. And before this monk arrived, the Buddha already knew that he is going to be enlightened. So this, as he was rubbing, he opens up out of just the curiosity, and he looked at the white cloth. The white cloth become very dirty, it's become a black, and suddenly that moment he had a thought, oh, early on it was a white cloth, and how come this is now black? And that's how he channeled that thought into his mind, that his mind was so black, full of so much rubbish, and now he was able to channel that, and then gradually he was able to release all the greed, hatred and delusion, and that's how he became an arahant. So it's up to one who can help a person to be enlightened. No one is dummy. It's based on what is needed to be. It's like a string or a one hair is blocking the whole mountain, and we need only one Kalyana Mitra or a good friend to take that hair out from our eyesight, and that's how we can see the whole mountain. And that is, so we have to accept their ability, we have to accept as they are, who they are, and respecting the way it is, the way they are. And respect gives us humbleness. We are losing our ego. We are losing our domination nature. Rather than I am the one, we become a one. We become a part of that system, creating this harmony in the society, in the community. But the very moment if you try to demonstrate or dominate, you are the one, and I am the best. It's not like you watch the Apprentice, Sir Alan's reality show, and then everyone will demonstrate, I am the one who did best. Not like that. The very moment when you have a nature of that, you lose your friends, and you also will not regard them as a friend. You will find every possible ways to dominate or just to kill them away from the path that for your success, like that. But so rather than that, we accepting and respecting their as they are, and understanding that their presence, their value, understanding their presence to us gives us such a value. So we put the value that they are with us. There is a saying in a humanistic way saying that there is a human being, and that demonstrate I am a human. So without another human, we are not a human being. So having seen the value of their presence in front of us, and seeing that they are the most valuable person in front of us, because we do not know when they are going to die, or when maybe this is our last moment that we are meeting each other, and after that we do not know. Look at this time of this pandemic. There are so many people died and so many things happen, and we cannot travel, and that's the sort of a thing. But if you have a time, if you are with one person who is in front of you, then seeing their value to us, and with that what happens is we're creating this harmony, and we lose our ego, and then see that we are also playing a part to fulfill play. But the most important of Buddha's teachings is to see that we are spectators, observers of this play in the stage. Once we understood that this what our life is the illusionary world that we are living, and when we withdraw ourselves and see this play, and that's how we achieve the enlightenment. So I think I offer this as finding a harmony and peace in a world of a different, and how can we accept, respect, and value. And that is the beauty of so-called community, the qualities of the community that in Buddhism displays with the different flowers, comes together and put it in one jar, that creates such a beautiful harmony. So I offer this as a reflection, and then changing yourself into the jar, this country or this whole world, as you are also one of the flowers, to make this flower bunch become beautiful, so this whole world become peaceful and beautiful. So with this I end tonight's reflection and my thoughts, and hopefully you understand and be a part of it. So meantime, in a few minutes time we will have evening chanting and guided meditation, so you're most welcome to join with us. And then if you are not coming to join with us tonight, I hope you come back for tomorrow at 6:30 for the talk. And then again repeating my same statements, that if you cannot make for the talk and chanting, please come for meditation at 7:30. So we come together to practice together, reinforcing each other to develop in this path for the peaceful and happiness of ourselves and the whole world. So thank you very much, and thank you everyone. Thank you Satya for your kind words. Thank you Margaret for your kind words, and thank you. So thank you Colin, thank you Manish. Right, we'll see you shortly in few minutes time for the chanting and meditation. If you're not continuing, see you tomorrow then. Good night. May the Buddha bless you. Thank you.